All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you, it is the right time for me. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. Yeah, let me hear a little bit of that little music. I like that kind of. Yeah, how do you like that? I don't know who wrote that. I don't know where it came from, but it's a nice little loop. Kind of loopy, Nicky. Right on. Yeah, this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth, justice, with the right information to help improve the situation. We are embarking on a new month. Actually, it's almost the middle of the month, but it's Black Music Month. June is always Black Music Month. June is the month that hosts Father's Day, and it also hosts a federal holiday known as Juneteenth. That's because in June 19th, back in 1865, there was actually in 1863, there's the Emancipation Proclamation made. We were having a civil war, kind of symbolic to what we're doing now. When I say we, I mean our country. You know, we have a lot of different interests. Divisive sometimes. Well, actually divisive quite a bit, because you have a lot of people who, fight every day in order to figure out how to eat, how to pay the rent, how to educate their kids, how to be happy in a place that promises, pursuit of happiness. It promises that we are going to be able to equally be treated by the law. It says we have opportunity. That's kind of frustrating when you are struggling extremely hard, and you're looking at people who are not struggling because their parents or their grandparents had such great luck, because they were growing up in a period of time where your success was not, really based on super much on how hard you worked. It was based on what color you were. If you were black or brown or yellow, and it was railroad builds to be built, you worked hard. So working hard was not an issue for Chinese people or black people or Hispanic people coming to America. Jobs. Work hard. And the Irish came to the United States. Well, they were coming here for freedom, and as soon as they landed in New York and places like that, they were given a uniform, told to go fight in the Civil War. I have any idea what kind of civil it was or what kind of war they were dealing with, but they were put to work, fighting for America's freedom, fighting to keep America one nation, under God, indivisible. Whereas there were some people who money was much more important then than the welfare of fellow Americans, the welfare of people who were working and suffering as farmers to raise enough food to not just feed themselves, but to feed the country. And to have to, negotiate their work value, to negotiate the price of onions, the price of potatoes, the price of beef, and they do that. And we have to do that. We do that because that's how we determine our economic flow. But if you were one of the lucky people, 1800s, who lived in the South, North, that had a pretty good idea of industry, what you wanted to do, man, the government was on your side. They said it was okay for you to use the labor of other people for free. Slavery. Well, we built America. America's a powerful nation. We built it on technology. We built it on people loving the future, people having faith, with the promise of what it's going to be, not because of what it is or was at the time, because it was miserable. And for some people, it's miserable now. despite the fact that you got people with 4 or 5 Rolls Royces in the garage. You got people with freezers full of food going bad every day. You got restaurants who have to throw it away because they didn't get to sell it. We have people on both ends of the economic equation, some that are extremely poor, some that are, well, we've got one guy that's a trillionaire. I'm not mad at him yet. Again, I got mad at him when he came to work for the government as a consultant and wanted to starve the poorest people on the planet. They took away health care, took away consumer protection, took away so many things that people kind of take for granted. Because it's free people, you kind of start taking things for granted. But good old Mr. Trump, boy, he's come here and let us know some things you can't take for granted. You're going to have to fight for them if you want them. If you want to be told the truth about history in the United States, if you want to know that slavery was an economic tool and not just a moral failure, because as an economic tool, it worked. But as a moral factor, it definitely showed us that we've got a lot of room to work into. And Mr. Anthony Garcia, my mood master, is here. Praise the Lord. Thank you, sir. So, we've had we've had so many changes that we've had to make, and so many things are still the same. I don't care how great the technology is, if the moral structure of the people who have the technology isn't correct, then we're going to be in trouble. So, but anyway, Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a reflection of contradicting concepts and thoughts. Juneteenth itself is a statement that says to the enslaved that you're free now. The Emancipation Proclamation took place and you're free. You no longer have to come and go to work for free. Work for free, you are free. Of course, that means that, that little shack that you had that you called a place to sleep, that's not there for you. And whoever you were enslaved by, they don't have to let you eat the scraps anymore from whatever they had. And matter of fact, they don't even have to let you stay on that property that you built up for them. But you're free, and though you don't have a map of the geographical boundaries, you're free, and you need to move around. Like parents sometimes say at the parties here, at the end of a party, you don't have to go home, especially if you don't have one, but you got to get out of here. So, the Emancipation Proclamation, made a lot of people free. At the same time, it made a lot of people homeless. In Texas, big state, and the Emancipation Proclamation, a statement that said that the enslaved were free. They only freed the enslaved who were in the southern states. Didn't free everybody. It didn't free all of the, the kind of bridge states. I think some along the lower tip of Illinois and Ohio, and but it wasn't everywhere. But it was an economic statement that the industrial North had to say about what was going on in the South. It was a battle for who was going to be in charge of this concept of growth. Is it going to be the slave states? Or is it going to be the states that say we aren't slave states? They called them free states, but they weren't really free, but they weren't slave states. And that big question really took place in the early 1800s, late 1700s with the Louisiana Purchase. Man, the size of the United States doubled. Got all of this land west of the Mississippi River, nobody living there but those Native American people. You know how the United States felt about that. That's like it being empty, unclaimed. Nobody's out there except these people living in tents. My goodness, they're not. Well, no, I understand. We had some Cherokee people that really had some nations and cities and towns and things. But these other guys, we'll just take this over. We're gonna, and it's whether it's a slave state or a free state. We just have to fight about that. A lot of building to be done. We need to build railroads. We need to build cities. We need to tame this land. And how we do it, we just got to do it. Well, America, we did it. We can go back and try to adjudicate all of the terrible things that we've done, but we're here now. Can we split the pie? We got a pie, we got a cake, we got the whole picnic. Oh, that's a terrible word, picnic. Used to mean pick a N word. We use the word now to say go have a good time. Isn't that something? But anyway, we have to come together with, and so we have. We've come together. We said Juneteenth. We said you're free. You said 2.5 years late to let the people in Texas know you got a couple of new plantings, couple of new harvests, it kept you a slave for a couple of years. But what difference does that make in a lifetime or a couple of generations, Generations. Well, I tell you what it does. It genetically applies itself, and it makes you realize that there's some things going on. If you think that black people in America who are descendants of slaves, of enslaved people, don't have an echo of that enslavement, you better talk to a psychiatrist, psychologist, a social worker. But then there's those people that say, well, slavery, why don't you guys just let that go? It was such a long time ago. Slavery was, I tell you what, we'll let slavery go. We'll forget all about slavery as soon as the people who benefited from slavery. Well, that was my great-grandfather. Well, it's true. But if you give up what he gave you, well, what do you mean? Well, the stocks and bonds and the positioning in life and the property that he stole and saved and gave to you that took away the opportunity from us. Well, that was a long time ago. Well, how long ago do you think we should be able to go back to pay attention? Well, I don't know. That was so long ago. Well, World War I, World War II. How about World War II? How about we say something about the GI Bill? And how fair that was, and how that the fact that we had black people fighting the war, we had a tank battalion go free France, we had black people doing everything. And when you let them fire some guns, you were kind of concerned about maybe it'll have too much joy as they shoot white people from Germany. Well, they weren't shooting white people from Germany, they were defending America. So you're racist in your thoughts about war. Amazing. But I'll say this, African Americans, black folk, Negroes, whatever you want to call us, we have been on the side of America for every war that America has been in, every incursion, every whatever it is that you want to call it other than a war. We can just take the list that President Trump uses to describe the relationship with Iran, for instance. But Juneteenth, it's a statement of freedom. It's a statement that America made that is as powerful as the 4th of July. As a matter of fact, I think it's even more powerful because it's one thing to declare yourself free from people across the ocean, but it's something else to declare freedom right at your feet, telling your feet they got to point the same way. We've got to have the same attitude. We've got to make freedom our standing pond. This is something we've got to stand on, that people are contributors to our future. And your personal lack of being able to move forward is not going to be subsidized by the color of your skin. We're going to give equal access to everybody. Why? Because we need everybody's brain to help us go forward in a way that's going to be progressive and allow us to have a quality of life that will make America strong and the envy of the world. That's who we are. That's what we want to be. That's the whole point and purpose. And Juneteenth is a statement that says, yes, that's what we're going to do. And if we have to do it with a little family fight, then we're going to do it with a little family fight, and it's going to be involving love every step of the way. I'm not fighting you because I hate you. I'm fighting you because I love my children, and I love yours. And they seem to get along so well until you instill the hate in them. So, Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a series of celebrations that black people started immediately upon finding out that 2.5 years ago here in the state of Texas, we should have been partying, but we were planting cotton beans and doing all kind of things for the benefit of other people, cowboying, being ranch hands and farm hands. But we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate in the midst of our pain and suffering. And it's been going on ever since. And it's going to be taking place here in San Bernardino, Rialto, Fontana, Riverside, Southern California. The United States of America has made Juneteenth a federal holiday. Do we have Miss Vicky on the phone? Are you going to give her a call? See if we can catch up with her. Oh, we can't. That's right. I have to do that. Yeah, we have to figure out that our success, our future is always based on our arrogance and aggressiveness toward our vision, not based on keeping us standing still where we are, but making a move to the future. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a bit about the specifics of Juneteenth, and it's a celebration. We'll be right back.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
In San Bernardino County, black babies are almost 3 times more likely to die before their first birthday than white babies. From 2018 to 2023, the number of babies born too early went up by more than 10%. Black mothers also have a higher chance of feeling sad or depressed during pregnancy, which can affect both mom and baby. But there is hope, and people are taking action. That's where FEMUR, the Fetal Infant Mortality Review, comes in. FEMUR is a local group of doctors, nurses, community leaders, and neighbors. They work together to learn why some babies die and how to stop it from happening. They look at real cases, mom and baby's information is kept private, and share ideas to help make care better for families. Together, we can build healthy beginnings for black families. For more information, visit dph.spcounty.gov/MCAH or email askmcah@spcounty.gov.
All right, we're back. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, on the case for truth and justice, with the right information to help improve the situation. At my side is the magic guitar of the mood master, Mr. Anthony Garcia. Michael is at the engineering booth, and on the other end of my telephone is Miss Vicki Davis. She is the CEO, the founder of Rialto's Juneteenth Jam. It's been a minute. I think it's I think this is the third annual. Is that the third annual, Miss Vicki? How are you doing today?
We are at the fourth annual.
The fourth annual. That makes a lot of sense. I'm not always up to date, but that's why I've got smart people like you. The fourth annual Juneteenth Jam taking place on June 19th, right?
Yes, sir. Next Friday. Well, this Friday. Coming up.
This Friday. Tell us about it.
There is so much going on. First of all, thank you, Mr. Wallace, for making sure I stay connected to the community and allowing me to be on the show today. We're going to be back in Ferguson Park in the city of Rialto on June 19th on Friday from 3 to 9 p.m. We have so much going on. We have our Miss Juneteenth pageant. We have our women's basketball tournaments. We have kids basketball camps and kids football tournaments. We've added an all-girls kids flag football tournament this year. So that is really exciting to be supporting our young ladies in athletics. We have the car show. We have hundreds of vendors. Domino's, Bid Whiz, Live Jazz. You name it, we got it. A barbecue cook-off. What else? What else should we do? I don't know what else to add.
Well, the only thing that I could see missing is politicians having speeches.
Well, we do have space.
Well, I mean,
we do
so
have space at the beginning of the program for our local dignitaries to speak. So we'll be hearing from a few, people. Another thing we added this year is our hair show. So we have the IE Hair Experience that's going to be celebrating our natural hair. And there's just so much. I'm looking forward to. If I think about it too much, my heart is going to explode. So.
I think about you as I talk to my mother sometimes, Miss Vicky. One of the things my mother tells me as she, reiterates the important messages that my grandfather gave her. And one of those messages to her has been, don't bite off more than you can chew. And I keep telling her, I said, Mom, leaders always bite off more than they can chew, and you bite it and you just start chewing. And that's you, Miss Vicky, and that's how things get done. Things don't get done just because people say, well, it's 24 hours in a day and I can only do this. You start, people like you, Miss Vicky, start packing things in. Now, your event is from 3 to 9.
Yes, sir.
And you just named a series of activities that many other people would be satisfied to be the feature and only event from 3 to 9. The women's flag football, the music, the fair, the rides for the kids, the cook-off. Any one of those items could be a 4 or 5 hour operation all by themselves. So I'm congratulating you personally for your effort, I'm congratulating us as a community for the fact that we are able to support someone like you, give you enough to feel strong enough to do what you're doing and know that you're going to be successful.
And I tell you, it's coming. It's all coming to a head right now because we are. What are we like? 5 days away, and there's so much to do still, and so many things to finish up, just so that everything can be ready for everyone. But I'm grateful for the support I get, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to just be able to be the one to do it. So.
You don't need any sleep. You're young. You can do this. Do you need any more volunteers, Miss Vicky? If there are people who want to help you now, how can they get involved and, be part of your arms and legs to help make this
Yes, so if people want to get involved, you can actually go on our website, juneteenthjam.info, and you can ask to be included in the newsletter that's going to be starting after this event. You can also send me an email at blackontheblog.missd@gmail.com, or you can just call me up, 951-255-7382. If I don't answer, send me a text, and I'll definitely make sure you get connected with the event. If you want to see more about all the different programming that's going to be going on, I'm doing my best to keep the content coming out to make everyone aware of what's going to be going on, and you can find that on Instagram at Vicky, Vickie, Davis Wellness, and also at Juneteenth_Jam.
Well, Miss Vicky, I don't normally give people's phone numbers, personal numbers out on the air, so I'm going to ask you to do it. So give your number out again.
Yes, 951 255-7382.
Excellent, excellent.
Always looking for volunteers.
Yeah, and if you have, not you, Miss Vicki, but listeners, if you have a few minutes and a little time that you'd like to invest, believe me, if you go volunteer to help with the Juneteenth Jam in Rialto, you'll have something to brag about. You'll be able to tell your friends and family that you helped out something that was really worthy for your time and energy. Well, Miss Vicki, we appreciate the fact that you're still there doing it. And once again, give the name of the park some directions, and let's get ready to party.
It is Alec Ferguson Park. That's 2395 West Sunrise Drive in Rialto, California, 92377. And if you want more information, you can always go on juneteenthjam.info or follow me on Instagram at Vicki Davis Wellness.
Vicki Davis. Everybody's got your number, but you got everybody else's number because we appreciate what you're doing. God bless you. Stick with it. We'll see you Friday.
All right, sounds good.
Take care. Vicki Davis, the founder of the Rialto Juneteenth Jam. Now that's in Rialto. You can believe that in the city of Riverside, city of Paris, probably Palm Springs, have no doubt something's going on up in Victorville. Have no doubt that there's something happening in Ontario. Down in the Pomona Valley, you've got to understand that Trudy Coleman is definitely taking care of Juneteenth in that atmosphere. So we want to be sure that you guys understand that I talk about the Inland Empire and the little cities and towns that make up the Inland Empire, not just to brag about how God has blessed us, but for you to realize that your little town is just as critical and just as important, and that you are the one that makes you're the straw that stirs the drink. What you want in your city, what you want in your town, what you want at your schools, what you want is important. But if you don't express it, if you don't go to these meetings, if you don't go to these commission meetings, if you don't talk to your elected officials, if you don't talk to your neighbors, if you don't get involved, then you won't get too much of anything that you want. You can get tax bills, you can get a lot of mail, you can get a lot of things that you don't want. But if you step up, chances are you can get what you want. And here's a good excuse. Come out for your Juneteenth, find out what's going on at your Juneteenth in your town, and go and meet some fellow freedom lovers. Go and meet some fellow freedom fighters, people who are willing to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, these immigration raids, we don't stand for that. We're not standing for slavery. We're not standing for artificial slavery. We're not standing for you guys mistreating those people who want to become Americans, mistreating those people who come to America to work, to add to our economy, to make it to be the oil that keeps our gears working. We do not feed the racist syndrome. We are not people who believe that just because you are of a certain color, you're superior to someone who is of another color. Oh, and believe me, there's some people who watched that basketball game last night or the night before or some great athletic venture, and they'll say, oh, man, did you see how good my race was doing? Well, I mean, if it's basketball, you're going to, in the finals of this game, we didn't have a lot of great white players to talk about. So somebody's going to tell you that the greatest athletes in the world are black. Well, and then if we're over at the ski event, somebody's going to tell you that they're white or Asian. And if we're at the track and field, it depends on what race. RACE, that you're running, not the RACE who is running. Our blood is too mixed for us to be standing around here thinking we're superior. I don't know, maybe we need to have a dragonfly here from somewhere, another space, that wants to eat us all up. Right. He says, oh, yeah, human flesh is human flesh. Ah. Maybe we'd come together and say, well, wait a minute. Since the dragons think that we're all the same, maybe we need to defend each other the same. There's a lot to this, you know. We can celebrate. And that's what I'm saying now. Here's a great time, a great way for us to come together using the pain and the suffering of slavery, of enslavement, of mistreatment, to celebrate the absence of it. Well, the intended absence of it. We're not there yet. You know, believe me, you can. Well, you know, the people that are really being mistreated are immigrants. They're not, you know, they're not American minorities. And listen, folks. Here's how I set my standard. Not that it's absolute or totally correct, but so you'll know, I got a little methodology for how I figured this out. Back in 1952, say you were traveling through the state of, I'll just say through the South, heck, you could be in Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi. You could have been in Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. I hate to say it, Illinois. Southern Illinois, boys, Southern Illinois, East St. Louis, that's just like being in Biloxi. But I'll tell you what, if you were in those cities in 1952, this is the way we tell, you know, the equality status. If you were in those cities in 1952 and there was a little sign by the water fountain that said, for colored, and over at the other water fountain it said, white only. It's very important now. Today, because of the census, and today because of so many people being concerned that there's a takeover by minorities and that the white count is too low, there's so many people now that have decided that maybe we shouldn't just let it be who's white and who's not. Maybe we should have some gradations between the colors so we could, you know, because if we say white and non-white, then pretty quickly here we can see that the non-whites are taking over. There's way more non-whites than there are. Okay, but in Mississippi in 1952, if you were not white, well, wait a minute, maybe you were Chinese, maybe you were Puerto Rican, maybe you were Italian, dark Italian, Greek, yeah, one of those dark-skinned Greeks. Arab, straight hair, nice nose, brown skin. Say you were Mexican. Well, I guess what I'm saying again is you are not white. And that's what those signs were saying. If you are not white, because when they say white only, they meant white only. Colored, you ain't white. You ain't white, you colored. Take your butt to the back door, drink out of this fountain that may or may not have water coming out. Do not walk into my stores if I'm a white man. You know, I'm just saying that. I'm not white, but wasn't white. But the statement was, do not come in our stores and expect to try on our clothes. If you don't know your size, don't come in here trying to pick up nothing and try it on. You want us to let you go in the little try-on room, try on our clothes, get next to your skin, and we don't even want you in our swimming pool where the water could kind of dilute the whatever's on your skin before it gets to ours. And you want to wear that dress to see if it fits? That's almost as ridiculous as you thinking you're going to put on one of our hats or caps to see if it... Oh, you want to do that too? No, you're not white. We can't let that happen. Juneteenth. things have changed to some extent. Part of why things change is sometimes black folks somewhere along the line decided that if you don't want my money, it's okay. We'll open our own stores. We'll open our own little hotel. Get our own little cab company. Wow, when they had the bus boycott, everybody was not riding the bus because, you know, you guys kicked a black lady off the bus because she had nerve enough to want to sit in the front. So they set up their own little system to ride. Man, people were taking each other to work, got to know each other real well. Interesting thing, though, was that, you know, we had successful black-owned bus companies in other cities in the South. But somehow we were determined that we were not going to start a black bus company in Montgomery. We were going to ride them buses, or we weren't going to ride them buses. They were going to let us on that public bus, or we were not going to ride the buses. Well, our ingenuity and entrepreneurialism didn't hit the front door at that point. But, you know, we did what we had to do in that sense, and a lot of people thought it was a bad move to decide to make white people take our money. We had bus boycotts. We had sit-ins at the lunch counter. We want you to take our money. Well, wait a minute. We had little cafes and stuff. They served good food, soul food. Food for the, why? Well, so we had some conflictions. We got people who want to be free, and then we got people who wanted to not be me. You know, want to be free, I want to be free, and then there's others says, I don't want to be me, I want to be you. I want what white people got. Well, you white people did such a great job of telling us what a wonderful life they have with TV shows. My gosh. The great life that white people lived on TV. I mean, you had white people wanting to live that life, let alone. It's a, leave it to Beaver. I don't have that kind of life at home. I'm still, you know, I don't, oh man. So we have a lot of conflicts and contradictions and freedom, but there's Juneteenth. Juneteenth says it. 4th of July says it. Hey, man, when we have the 4th of July and everybody's celebrating their great freedom, we have poor people who couldn't afford to eat, but they spent some money on a damn firecracker so they could celebrate America's freedom. And we that can afford the firecracker and a hamburger should be willing to share the hamburger. And you know what? Those of us who could only afford a hamburger generally are willing to share that. But it's the people who can afford to have Rolls Royces by the numbers in their garage, houses by the number in different states, families that just have everything and look down their nose at people who have no thing, and they do not want to share their hamburger, their anything. Matter of fact, they want to own the beach. They don't want you to be able to walk by the beach. In California, the beaches belong to everybody. In the United States, public lands belong to everybody. But we have rich people who decide that, tell you what, okay, that may be public land, but if all of the land around the public land is private land that you have to cross before you can get to the public land, then the public land really ain't public land. But what do you mean? Well, I just bought this house on the beach, and I'm putting a fence over here on that side and a fence on that side. And I got enough money to go to court every week, if necessary, to fight off you dummies who think that just because the state said that this beach is public, that you're going to be able to go to court and expect that the state is going to defend your right to come in my backyard. This is my backyard. I bought this beach. Whew. Man, congratulations. I salute the parents who raised those children who are able to walk in the midst of that kind of oppression and ignorance and not kick somebody's butt. Man, woo, the old American tradition. Somebody treats you like that, tell you you can't walk on what is public land, you kick their butt. That's America. We ain't taking no crap like that. This is America. But at some point, boy, you get to the place where politicians start liking money more than they do the vote. Well, they tell you, well, I'm taking money so I can, buy advertising and, and seduce people into voting for me. Man, but they take the money. What do they do with the money? They go on big boat trips and buy airplanes. And I've got a communication business. They ain't buying nothing from me to talk to you. I don't know. Maybe if they were buying me and giving me $1 million worth of advertising a couple times a month, maybe I would be too busy trying to figure out what to do with that money to worry about advocating for you. But then I know what enough is. I mean, I know what enough is. My friends and I used to sit around and wonder, say, well, how can you tell what enough is? Well, I can tell you what too much is. Here's too much. Mr. Musk became a trillionaire yesterday. Trillionaire. I was blessed to listen to a mathematician talk on the TV. He says, well, to let you know how much $1 trillion is, if we froze the $1 trillion and we said, what can you do with it? Here's what you could do with it over 100 years. In 100 years, you could take $1 trillion and spend of it $35 million a day, every day for 100 years, and still have money left over. I said $35 million a day that you could spend every day for 100 years and still have money left over if you are a trillionaire. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Now, the man's a visionary. I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve a great promise because he promises to do great things. Well, Wallace, we don't understand. Well, no. There's something to part of what he says. You hear people talk about these data centers where they want to put a big data collection center, maintenance center in your neighborhood and use up all of your energy and use up all of your water, and because these centers use energy and they get so hot that they need water. And there's hundreds of them being built across the country. And you find that because rich people need them and want them, that they're able to publicize and promote, and and you'll look up and your little town is all of a sudden out there. Anyway, here comes on a white horse Mr. Musk. He says, I tell you what, we need these data centers somewhere else. We're going to put them in space. And that sounds like a good idea because space says we got room for everything. That's where we got all of these junk satellites and who knows what else is up there. I mean, because they don't have to tell us. They're private companies now. Private company take off and use our airspace and use our space to do whatever they want to do to make money. Man, I'm talking too much now because it was too much when I claimed the beach behind the billionaire's house. And then I'm telling you that public lands out there in Wyoming and Montana are yours and that you should be able to go out there and enjoy them. Now I'm telling you that space belongs to you too. I don't know. Mike, you might want to go lock that door. I think the police or the ICE or somebody may be coming to get me.
Turn the air conditioner on.
Well, yeah, I'll turn the air conditioner on first, though, so we can use up a little air since it's our air conditioning. I know, this America says this is ours. It's ours, our country. Ours. Celebrate Juneteenth. If we can celebrate Juneteenth, celebrate the freedom from slavery, celebrate the freedom from oppression, celebrate the freedom that became necessary in order to hold this country together. Abraham Lincoln said, we cannot have a country that's divided based on the fact that we've got free labor for one side of the country and paid labor for the other. Our economic balance is not going to continue. We can't continue like this. So there's things that we have to do to balance it out, and that part means, okay, we got to let these people be equal. No, they were equal before we said they weren't. Yeah, that's true. You know, they had built great universities all over Africa before we went in there and tried to pretend that they were ignorant, lost souls that needed missionaries to come teach them about a God that they had been serving for years. But we had to dehumanize them, and now we got to humanize them back some kind of way. But we'll do that slowly, so we keep, you know, the people that are in charge kind of in charge still. But and we'll give these black folk a little bit of a. I mean, we remember now they didn't just move Africans out of Africa for the sake of brainwashing and instilling in them a mystique that says white skin is powerful. They also went in and disrupted the conditions on the planet, on the continent of Africa. They went and started arguments between the various tribes. There were thousands of tribes of people getting along. Oh yeah, there'd be arguments and wars, and sometimes people killed each other. But they didn't kill each other like they did, boy, once you went in there and somebody says that, well, Mr. Garcia, I know that this was your property, but, you know, it's more convenient for us if we give this land to Wallace. Well, you can laugh if you want to, but it's Wallace's land, you know. And Wallace, don't get so happy, fella, because some of this land that you thought was yours, we got to give that to Mike. And Mike, you know, all of that stuff, that land that you were so happy with, that you thought was going to be yours, that you worked hard and got that nice garden going, we're going to give that to Leroy. And we're going to just give everybody somebody else's stuff enough that you guys have some tensions and arguments amongst each other about where you used to live and how you're being treated, your traditions and your history. And oh yeah, we know you got some burial sites, but we're not going to honor those. As a matter of fact, we're going to turn those into party land so that you'll have something else to be mad at the new occupant about. So with all of that, we back out now, and Africa is in turmoil. You know, everybody's trying to get back to where home was. But America has put new borders and barriers, and along with the great European experience in Africa. Wallace, you're angry. You sound like you just don't. No, I'm not angry. I'm too young to be angry. Now, if I were a couple of hundred more years old, you know, where I could remember specifically who took my stuff, I'd be angry. But I know in general that, you know, I don't have to be angry. I just need to be aggressive. I need to be smart. I need to be looking forward to doing something that's based on love. If I come at the world based on hating because they stole my stuff, I won't get anything. But if I approach the world based on love because I'm trying to feed my children, I will find that my energy lasts much longer and my purpose is much more pure, and I'll be able to fight that fight all the way through, life and death. As you remember me, you'll remember that even in death, his memory was for life. Fair life, equal life, Juneteenth life. Man. Mike, see if you can go on the internet and find the song by Lowell Fulson called Reconsider Baby. Because that's what we need to do. I need for America to reconsider its position and attitude. I need for America to reconsider the fact that It is a fact that we can do everything we want to do if we do it together and do it with love and do it with some type of purpose that is going to be thinking about our great, 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 great grandchildren. Something that says we are not going to eat up everything we see, tear up everything that we use, throw away everything that could still be used, simply because it's fun. We're enjoying Juneteenth, we're celebrating, but we are not tearing up stuff. We're celebrating the fact that we are preparing for the future. We're growing things. We're educating our children. We're becoming friendly with strangers. Man, that's something to look forward to. That's a party that after you go to that party, you got a right to sleep late the next day. Man, but when you go to a party and you get drunk and you grab your boss's wife by the butt, you ate up all the food that, you could have lasted for a month. You used the toilet paper to throw up on the tree, the toilet paper the tree. But you had a good time. Yeah, but the memory of that good time isn't something that you want to share. Why? Because you don't want to tell anybody you were the one that used up the last good roll of toilet paper to throw it up on the tree. You don't want to tell anybody that you drank up that last little bit of liquor because it looked so good, and then you got in your car and you drove down the street and you ran into the back of Mike, who was on his way to work.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And I'm telling you, there's unforeseen consequences on everything that we do.
Don't tell me a lie.
Yeah. Did you find that song? Reconsider, Baby, by old Lowell Fulson.
Here you look for it.
Fulson. They even might spell it SOM. It's one of the greatest songs it's one of the 500 most influential songs in music, according to the great Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Reconsider, Baby.
Any day now.
No, that's not the song, but that's a good slick statement. Okay, yeah, pull that song up. I want you guys to listen to the lyrics. Lowell Fulson was a great songwriter. Come on now. Celebrating Black Music Month right here. Empire Talks Back. The great Mr. Lowell Fulson.
Oh, I hate to see you go. So long. Oh, I hate to see you go. And the way that I will miss you, I guess you will never know.
We've been together so long. That's the pain and the suffering. Leave that thing up, man. Let people hear it in the background. That's some bad stuff. That's Mr. Lowell Fulson. Been together so long, and I hate to see you go. That's the pain and suffering. Pain been around a long time. Hate been around a long time. But I'm going to let you go, pain. Yeah, see, because it's time to come back to love. It's time to come back to treating each other right. We're going to take advantage of this wonderful guitar that Lowell is playing and that wonderful mood master in the background here. And we're going to tell you we love you, we care about you, we want you to understand that you are the reason for the season. Don't let hate take you out. Don't let ignorance take you out. Do not let Trump be your trump card. Your trump card is God. Your trump card is love. Your trump card is getting along with each other. Don't bite the bullet. Don't chew the flute. Reconsider. Let life come to you with love, and you give it back with love, and we'll all be much better off. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. I'm out of here. See you next week under two circumstances. One, if the good Lord's willing. Two, if the creek don't rise. definitely help you with that because it will help you help me with so many other things that I've got. This
Thank
is
you
a great
so much.
deal. Mrs. Williams, I appreciate you.
Said love me, but now I guess you have changed your mind.
God bless you. Thank you.
You said you once said love me,
We're honored to be here today.
but now I guess you have changed your mind. Why don't you reconsider, baby? Give yourself just a little more time.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families, Teamsters1932.org.